You are watching NetSoft IT Academy. 905-812-2923. info@netsoftacademy.com. www.netsoftacademy.com.
Now let's start with scenario number 8. Scenario number 8 is one of those scenarios where you have two forests, forest A, forest B. And we are going to establish a domain trust or a forest trust between these two. We're going to establish a forest trust between these two, and we are going to configure our mailbox server in such a way that all users in the second forest, that is forest B, are using the mailbox server in forest A to send and receive emails. This is done with the help of something known as a linked mailbox. Now, the idea behind this or the logic behind this is, let us say a company has just recently acquired a new company or they are merging with another company and they want to centralize all of their IT resources. That is one of the scenarios wherein we will be using a linked mailbox or this kind of setup. Now, first things first, I'll change my IP address. Now, remember, there is no need for any internet in these scenarios. And I'll be building the entire infrastructure for Forest 1 first. It's not that I cannot multitask, it's just that it is a good practice to have all of your forests done first, then move on to the next forest. So basically, I'll be setting up my domain controller, mailbox server, and domain join my workstation. After that, I'll move on to my second forest where I'll set up my domain controller. Remember, this is the change here, domain controller and just 2 workstations. So this will be around 6 machines in total. Okay, so IP address 172.16.10.10, 172.16.10.1, 172.16.10.10 is my preferred DNS. Now, in this scenario, remember IP addresses matter a lot. So please do not think of the IP addresses as okay, hey, we can do whatever. Keep your IP addresses uniform. Add roles and features. Select Active Directory domain and domain services and install. Now, this is the same process that we've been doing so far. It's nothing out of the ordinary. So, the only thing is that this time, since we have 2 forests, we are going to use different names. And this is where you should be extremely careful. We are going to be using different names, so it is important to have your naming convention standardized. Now, I generally use the names NetSoft Academy and neta.local, netsoftakademy.com and neta.local. So, I'll be sticking to those names. Now, you can choose a different name, but I would recommend against it because sometimes troubleshooting, in case you have an issue and you decide to reach out to us, troubleshooting could be an issue because we would not be able to understand which forest is which. So, always keep that in mind. So, I'm going to promote the server to a domain controller, add a new forest, NetSoft Academy.com. Next. Now, this will just keep going until next. So, all I need to now enter is the DSRM password and all those things, and then it will just keep going to next. It's nothing new for us now. And the password is always going to be password 1350. So I'll wait for this. Yep, perfect. Now remember that while this is all happening, it is very tempting to multitask and try and do multiple things at the same time, which I am not against doing, but remember that I do not encourage it. There are multiple reasons why I don't encourage it. One of the main reasons why is because if one thing goes wrong in one place, you will not be able to find out. And troubleshooting becomes a little bit of a headache. So I just want to avoid those kind of situations. So I'll wait for this computer to restart and get everything sorted out. Then we will create a user, only one user. Once that user is created, then we will move on to the mailbox server installation. So now my domain controller has restarted. So let me quickly log in. And you can see that right away, it is a domain controller. We don't have to worry about it. But we are going to do a few due diligence steps. The first one is going to be obviously checking the IP and making sure that it is pointing at the right spot. Now, there is an argument that goes for this, that if you go to tools and you look at DNS, and you see where it is pointing, where the DNS records and everything are pointing, you will see that it is set to 172.16.10.10, which, while I agree, I just like my environment a little bit more to my liking, wherein I don't have the loopback here, but rather I have my proper IP address pointing and leading to fewer issues than I would like to encounter. That's my take on it. Now, everybody has a different take on it. It's my take on it. All right. So now that my IP address is done, I'll click on Tools, Active Directory Domain Users and Computers, NetSoftAcademy.com, right click New. Let's say organizational unit first, Toronto, and one user. Let us say I'm going to go with not Megan Fox, let's say Bruce Lee. Okay. Password 1350, password 1350. Password never expires. Now, remember that in a testing environment, this is okay, but in a real life environment, this is horrible. So, never ever do that. All right, so this is my domain controller segment done. Now, we could do a few things here a little bit differently. Say, for example, I could click on settings, then just mount the Exchange Server 2019 CU14 ISO and just get started on the prep work here. So I'm not installing it anyway. So it's on D drive, D:\enter. So I could basically do you can see this setup.exe, prepare schema, I accept, exchange. Oh no, it is I accept license terms, diagnostic services on. Now I could just copy and paste the command as well. So I will copy and paste the command. So as you can see, instead of running the first sequence of commands like I normally do, I'm going to run the second sequence of commands here first. Now, is this going to make a big difference? Not really. We anyway need to run these commands. But I'm just wrapping up all the work I have on my exchange, on my domain controller right away so that I don't have to come back to my domain controller or switch between the machines. This could be a good thing. Now, the first few times when we did this, I might have done it in that method just to explain to you that how the entire prerequisite steps work. But now that we have done this a few times, I am pretty confident that you understand what we are going to be doing here. So we will now wait for this setup to complete or this command to complete, and once it is completed, we'll see if it is a feasible option or not. Okay, so the first command is done and you can see that there's no major difference. All right, so let me do this for a second. Yep. Because we don't want this to be a recurring issue for us. All right, so now I'll copy the next command. And you can see that it is going to work exactly as planned. There is not going to be a big difference. Now, why were we not doing this first? The reason why we are not doing this first was because we wanted to ensure that our process flow was completely 100% foolproof. Any changes could lead to, you know what it could lead to, or you know where it could go. So that is the reason why we avoided it. Now, this is a very simple thing to do. It is just I'm restructuring one point before the other. While it might feel like we are changing a lot of things here, in reality we are not. In reality, we are just restructuring one step. We are just making sure that our domain controller is completely wrapped up. So I'll wait for this command to be completed and then we'll run the next command. And you can see it's going very fast as well. After this, we'll do the next entire set of Exchange Server preparation and prerequisite installation. Now remember, this is also prerequisites. It's just that we started our prerequisite first on a domain controller. Both methods work. It's just that I wanted to explore this option first. Now this time I just need to change one command here. It's just prepare domains command, nothing major. Oh, I think I got the parameter wrong. Prepare all domains. Now this is the reason why I have my commands all lined up. See, even things like this happen. Small things end up being major, like snowball into major things. So you would want to avoid that ideally. So I'll wait for this command to complete, and once this is done, we'll then move on to the Exchange server. All right, so now all three commands are done, so we are good here. So now let me move on to the next server, that is my Exchange server. Now I already have my machines all prepped up, all lined up, all set up. It's just me being me. I want to ensure that I don't have to spend time setting up my infrastructure. So I do a little bit of homework beforehand. But if you remember this, that for this you'll have to set up your virtual machines and everything in advance to make sure that everything is working. All right, so first things first, we'll domain join this server and then log in as the enterprise admin and then get started on the Exchange server prerequisite installation. Okay, local server, Ethernet 0, properties, use the following IP address 172.16.10.20, 172.16.10.1, 172.16.10.10. Okay, done. Workgroup, change, domain, NetSoftAcademy.com, administrator, password 1350. Yep, done. So I'm going to restart this machine now. And you can also see that I have all of my VMware tools, every single thing installed, even the machines renamed. The reason why I'm renaming my machines is so that when I install my Exchange services on this, I at least have the server name. It's nitambx01.netsoftakademy.com/ecp/ rather than having a name like win-2478 Z76. It's just too complicated. That's it. It's just too complicated. You don't want to use Nita, use a different name, but use a name. It makes your life a whole lot more easier. It is very tempting to just skip over that step. It's because it's just time consuming. But that time consuming step actually saves a lot of time. Right? Okay. So we don't have to do anything here. We just very quickly open up PowerShell and copy the big command here, install Windows feature. Copy this big command. Paste the command here. Okay. And once it starts running, I'm going to right click on the virtual machine, click on settings, and I'll mount the hybrid deployments ISO on this one. Microsoft 365 hybrid deployments ISO. Oh, so I moved my ISO files, so that's another thing. So I'll have to go to the right location for this now. Now you might be thinking, why did I move things around? Certain times, certain things happen. So one of the things that happens is that oh hey, I have to move things around just to get a few things done. Okay, open folder. So Visual C++ first. I'm also going to start Java. And I'm going to start everything at the same time. So Unified Communications Managed API is next. Because I know for a fact that my C++ is installed. Read the terms, install. Now I'll just be waiting for my Java installation and my ISS URL rewrite module installation. IIS, not ISS, IIS, I'm so sorry. IIS. And you can see that I can install this one as well. So that means my PowerShell command is done to a very good extent. So now the last thing that I'm waiting for, other than my PowerShell, is the Java installation. The Java installation takes time. So that is why I recommend starting it first. So once it starts, once it pops up, then we will be good to go and we'll install Java as well. I'll show you one more thing. You might be tempted to double click, but you can see that there is another installation already going on in the background. So it is just pulling up the resources, quite honestly. See? Install. Now the PowerShell command should be done at this point. So you can see that because I was doing things here and there, it did give me an error. So I'm going to reinstall all of these services again. It's not a big problem, but it could just be the fact that it requires a restart. So that is why it isn't working. So not a problem. I'll just restart the server as soon as we are done installing Java. Now remember, these are the few kind of problems that might look very minor at the beginning, but they end up becoming a huge problem in your workflow as you're moving forward and as you're installing your Exchange server. And to resolve one problem, you'll have to go back 10 steps. So it is not worth the effort, if I'm being quite honest. I know Java is installed, so I'm just going to restart the computer. See? Close, restart computer. Now, ideally, I wouldn't need to do anything else after this, but I'll just double check just in case. Because I don't want my installation to fail, I don't mind restarting once more. But having my installation fail on me for the Exchange server is going to be very chaotic. Because it will not fail on the first step or the second step. It will fail on the 7th or 8th step, for which we'll have to be waiting for a while and then it fails. So it is very annoying at that point. You can see that it is stopping the services and everything is going on. So I'll wait for it to restart. Yep. Okay, so it is installing a few updates. So all the things that we installed in the background. So we'll just give it a minute, give it a second. Let's see what exactly is happening. Because it is no longer connected to the internet, I'm not worried about this server getting the latest updates from Microsoft. It is just that we installed a few features, so sometimes it does take a second. Okay. Now, because I think everything went well, because everything was installed properly, even the updates and everything came in properly. So I don't really see the point of requiring any more work here. So I'll just mount my Exchange Server 2019 CU14 ISO on this one. And I'll start the Exchange Server installation process now. Autoplay, run setup.exe. Now, if you don't get autoplay, then I did show you how to get to autoplay. It's not a big problem, but it would be ideal if you used autoplay, because you don't have to go through all the hassle of finding things and doing all of those things. So now we'll wait for the setup to get started. Now you can see it's copying the files. So we'll wait for it. Wait for it. Now you can see that my files got copied and everything worked. So next, 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 mailbox role, next, next, disable malware scanning, yes, next. And now once the prerequisites are configured, we'll find out if I missed anything. Now any issues that I could have will show up here. And you will see them here, right here. As soon as it is done, it hits 100%, it will give you a sequence of errors. See? Now, this could either be because of the command. So we'll run the command again. Remember, this is what I was trying to explain earlier. That sometimes it is not a good idea to be doing what I'm doing. So I'll run the command again. And it's a good thing that we caught this on here. But even then, you still have to go back a few steps, which in some cases is very frustrating as well. Now we'll do this, then we'll restart, and then we will be able to start. Or let's try if the command is done, then we can see what exactly is going to happen. So I'll wait for the command to complete installation, and then we'll see what to do next. All right, so you can see that the command is done. So if, let us say, I click on retry on the Exchange server, it will still say that you're missing a restart. It will still say that. Or maybe not, who knows? You could never be too sure with this software. See? So click on install. And now we'll wait for this installation to complete. This will take a good 30-35 minutes. So we'll wait for it to complete. And once this installation is done, then we'll move on to domain joining our workstation. Now remember, the workstation part is at the very end. So you can domain join the workstation even right now while this is installing and get it done with. So let me show you what exactly I mean. So this is my workstation here. So once my workstation starts up, I'll log in. I'll just domain join. I'll not do anything. I'll domain join and I'll shut down this machine. I'll only use it towards the end of the scenario, when I want to send an email, and I'll be doing everything over the OWA, the Outlook web app. Quite frankly, because the mail application that used to exist in previous version of the Windows ISO is no longer there. So that has created a new problem where you need to use Outlook for Windows, which requires internet, and we are using a completely no internet scenario. So internal network scenario or intranet scenario. Basically, that's how you would put it. Okay, so first things first, ncpa.cpl. I don't know why, but I always keep entering ncap. That's a tool anyway, I know, but I just don't like making that mistake again and again. Okay, so the IP address here would be now 172.16.10.30, 172.16.10.1, and 172.16.10.10. Okay, done. Done. Now you could go to File Explorer. You could go to File Explorer, or you could go directly from Settings. Both ways work. So I'm going to go from Settings first. Settings. Under System, scroll down to the bottom, you will see About. Click on About. Then click on Domain or Workgroup. And then click on Change. Here, I'm going to change the domain to netsoftakademy.com. Enter. Administrator. And password 1350. Oh, username or password is incorrect. Okay, maybe I have a typo. Administrator, password 1350. Yep, I had a typo, which is very common. Even you will have typos. Restart later. Now I'm just going to close everything and I'm going to shut down this machine. It is domain joined. I'm not concerned about the domain joined part anymore. So I'll just shut down this machine because I don't want this machine to be taking up resources when I don't need it. Remember, the more number of machines you have, the smaller your resource pool gets. So you have to make sure that you're very judicious with your resource usage. Remember that your resource usage must be very judicious. You cannot just do anything else. So now, while it is shutting down, I'll just go back to my Exchange server installation and I'll wait for this to complete. Once it is completed, then we will look at the next steps. So now at this point, my Exchange server is installed. That's perfect. So I'm going to click on Finish, click on Start, click on Exchange Management Shell. Now the reason why we are doing this is just to make sure all the services are running and everything is connected. Now this is the difficult part done, by the way. The next few parts are very simple. We can get that done in 10-15 minutes. It's not going to be that big of a deal, but it will still be a challenge. Mailbox server. And you can see Nita MBX is 01. Availability is good. Everything looks fine. Okay. So now I'll go to the browser. Now again, the choice of browser remains yours. I'm using Edge because I don't want to go around installing a new browser and doing all the heavy lifting. It's just me. If you have a different choice, you are free to use that different choice, but I'm going to go to a new in private window, go to https://nita mb xs01.netsoftakademy.local .com, not .local, /ECP/. ECP stands for Exchange Control Panel. So because it's all connected here, oh sorry, not here. This is the regular PowerShell, the Exchange Management Shell. Everything was connected there. We can see that it's all loading up very quickly. So let me zoom in a little bit. Yep. So NetSoft Academy /administrator password 1350 sign in. Now all I'm going to do here is just ensure that my one user Bruce Lee has a mailbox, because that is the first thing, that our internal user needs to have a mailbox. So let me select, let us say, oh not Saskatchewan, wait. Eastern time. Save. Now remember, if this goes into a loop, which it does sometimes do that, or it goes into Outlook and does something else, you would have to just go back and just sign in again. It's not a big problem. Now I'll wait for my details to be loaded up here, and you can see that I only have one user, that is my administrator, nothing else. So I'm going to click on New and select User Mailbox here. And under Existing User, I'll click on Browse. Bruce Lee selected, that's the only user I have, and save. And that's it. Bruce Lee now has a mailbox. The user Bruce Lee has a mailbox. So now I'm going to stop here on, this is my first entire forest done. My netsoftakademy.com forest completely done. Now I will move on to my second domain controller here, and I'll start installing the second forest here. And then after that, we will establish a forest trust. So the process is generally the same. The only change will be the domain name and the IP addresses. If you want, you can push the range a little bit back. But since I'm going in sequence, 10, 20, 30, this will be 40 for me. So let me quickly sign in. You can see that this is a plain old virtual machine. There is nothing installed on this. Okay, so once it loads up, right click, properties, use the following IP address. Now I'll just give it a second because VMware tools do take effect a little bit abruptly sometimes. So it just kind of zooms in. 1610.40, that is going to be my IP address. See, like I was mentioning, 172. And you can see this here, that it will not let me do a few things. So I'll have to redo it again. Not a problem, but just a very minor inconvenience, if I'm being honest. 10.40, 172.16, 10.1, and 172.16, 10.40, not 10, 10.40. This is a separate forest on its own. Okay, close. Now, I know for a fact that all of my machines are renamed and everything is properly here. You can see it's 8ADS02. So I don't have to worry about that. So I'm just going to click on Add Roles and Features. Select Active Directory Domain Services and install the features. Now remember this, that I'm only doing this just so that you understand that the deployment scenarios vary in Exchange. Exchange on premises is a little bit of a wide array of installation and deployment scenarios. You have a lot of various ways in which companies might do stuff. So this is where we start getting into the multiple forest scenarios. Ultimately, we'll also get into the single forest, multiple domain scenario, which is basically every domain has its own independent mail server, but they can all communicate with each other internally over the same shared network. And that is going to be a little bit challenging. If I'm being 100% honest, it's a little bit challenging. So, okay, this is done. I'm going to promote this server to a domain controller. New forest. This one I'm going to name nita.local. Next. DSRM password and everything will be the same as password 1350. So the idea is that we complete this one domain controller, then we domain join all the workstations to this domain controller, and then we start connecting the dots together. So the workstations will be domain joined first, and then we will move on to the next steps. Now, looks like a lot of work, yes, but in reality, it is like every task is like two-minute tasks. It's not a big thing. It's only the domain controller installation that takes the longest, quite honestly, and it is very painful to wait for it. Sometimes. All right. So I'm installing this. So we'll wait for it to complete installation, restart. Once it is restarted, then we will proceed with user creation, and then we'll proceed with domain joining our workstations to this domain. So at this point, my domain controller has restarted. Let's just quickly log in. And you can see that it's a domain controller, perfect. I'm going to log in. And once I'm logged in, the first thing that I'll do is check my IP. Now this is important for a multitude of reasons, and the very big reason is we are going to be creating conditional forwarders. So if the IP address isn't properly aligned, there might be issues with establishing a forest trust. And I want to avoid those kinds of issues. So again, you can see this. Is loopback really a big problem? In reality, not a big problem, yes. But can it pose a big problem in certain cases? Yes. Loopback is just there to ensure that it just tells you that your NIC is working perfectly well. That is its purpose. That's perfect. But for us, it is not really the point here. So now I'll click on Tools. I'll click on Active Directory Users and Computers, nita.local, and I'm going to create a new OU. This OU, I can call it as Toronto, it doesn't matter. But I'm going to name it France for now. And under France, I'll create two users. The first user will be Bill Walsh. B Walsh. Password 1350. Password 1350. Password never expires. Remember, only in testing environments, password never expires. In real life environments, password must expire. Okay. Then again, the second user we can make Megan Fox. M Fox. Password 1350. Password 1350. Now again, password never expires. Next, and finish. So this is our two users created. Now let's move to the workstations now. So I'll first navigate to workstation 2, Nita WKST02. Remember, this is just a domain joined machine. I'll domain join and then I'll maybe suspend the machine for the moment. That is the best thing to do. I'll maybe suspend the machine. So while this is here, let me also go back. I shut down my workstation 1, so I'm going to power on my workstation 1 as well and keep it in a suspended state as long as I don't need it. So first let me domain join my virtual machine here, workstation 02. And there is a workstation 03 as well after this. So I'll be doing 2 domain joins. So let me quickly breeze through it. Oh, so this is mostly because I might have disconnected the NAT. You can see this here. Yep, now the NAT is connected. Now this will be 172.16.10.50. 172.16.10.1 is the gateway and 172.16.10.40. 40 is my preferred DNS server. All right. Click on settings. Scroll down, click on about. Oh. Click on domain or workgroup, change domain nita.local administrator and password 1350. Okay, and you can see that this is joined to the domain now. So I'll restart this machine right away. And while it is restarting, now I'll move on to the third workstation. At this moment, we don't really need the workstations here. But I'm powering on all the machines because the next few steps are going to happen very quickly. First, we will make sure everything is domain joined, everything is powered on. Then we will create the linked mailbox and then we will verify mail flow. That is the process flow now. Okay. Oh, before I forget, we are also going to establish the forest trust first. Without that, the other things don't work anyway. Linked mailboxes don't work without forest trust. Yeah. So quickly, let me again run through the same steps again. Now this time, I'm just going to do 2 things at the same time. So I don't have to navigate around too much. Properties. Now this IP address will be 172.16.10.60. Oh, it's 72. It isn't 172. Yep, got it. Okay, done. About. Scroll down. Domain or work group. Change. Domain. nita.local. Administrator and password 1350. Okay, done. And I'll just restart this machine and leave it running as well. No more turning off the machines or doing anything else because now we would like to access them as soon as we are done. So once this entire infrastructure setup is done, now we'll start with our forest trust aspect. So first I'll go to my Nita ADDS02. Now in Nita ADDS02, I'll click on tools, click on DNS, double click on Nita ADDS02, expand it, double click on conditional forwarders. Right click conditional forwarder and select new conditional forwarder. Now I'm going to point towards the opposite domain. So my opposite domain is netsoftakademy.com and the IP address is 172.16.10.10. Now you can see that it is attempting to resolve. I want to show at least see NETA ADDS01 here before I click on OK. And you can see it came up here. So that's perfect. Click on OK. Now I'm going to repeat the same process on NETA ADDS01. You can see my ADDS01 has gone to sleep, but it's okay because I generally don't have any need for it apart from this one process step here. All right. So I'll click on Tools, DNS. This is on ADDS01 now. I did the first step on ADDS02. Now I'm doing the opposite on NETA ADDS01 now. Conditional forwarders. Right click conditional forwarder, new conditional forwarder. This time it will be NETA.local 172.16.10.40. Now ideally I want to see NETA ADDS02 here for the server FQDN, because once this is established, then setting up the trust is going to be a breeze. Yep, perfect. Okay, so I've created two conditional forwarders. Now on ADDS01, click on Tools and click on Active Directory Domains and Trusts. Right click your domain name netsoftakademy.com and click on Properties. And then click on Trusts. You can see I don't have any trust at the moment, so I'm going to click on New Trust. So this is a wizard-based tool. Next, the opposite domain name. So in my case, it is neta.local. Next, if you see any other option other than forest trust or external trust, that means that your conditional forwarders are not pointing properly and you should probably delete them and recreate them. Select forest trust, next. Two-way, next. Both this domain and the specified domain, as you want to see that the trust is being formed on both places, you want to be able to see it. Next, administrator and password 1350. This is the administrator account for neta.local. Next, forest-wide authentication, yes, correct. Next, 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 next. Do you want to confirm the outgoing trust? Yes, confirm the outgoing trust. Do you want to confirm the incoming trust? Yes, confirm the incoming trust. Next, and finish. And you see that the forest trust is now active. It is transitive in nature. It goes both ways. It is both inbound and outbound. This is perfect. Done. So now we move to the easy part. That is NETA MBXS 01. So on NETA MBXS 01 on the Exchange Admin Center, I'll click on New and select Linked Mailbox. A linked mailbox only works when you have a trusted forest or domain. Since we have that, you can see neta.local got selected automatically. Click on Next. And now you can browse the master account. So you can click on Browse. And you can see Bill Walsh, Megan Fox, both of them. So I'm going to select Bill Walsh first. Bill Walsh, okay. Next. Now name here. So I'm going to use the same name, Bill Walsh. And organization header, you can see it's not mandatory, but I'm going to set it mandatory and I'm going to make sure that the data is at least stored in one of the OUs I have. Okay, Toronto, okay. User logon name, bwalsh@netsoftakademy.com. And finish. You can see that the mailbox type is different here. So I'm going to repeat the same process again for Megan Fox now. Linked account. Next, browse, Megan Fox. And you can see one more thing, that I could create two more Bill Walsh accounts if I so wish to. But it is a glitch, or let's just say a oversight, but it's a linked account. So maybe the use case is a little bit different than what we expect it to be. Name, Megan Fox. Organizational unit, Toronto. User logon name mfox@netsoftakademy.com and finish. So now we have two linked users and one original user. So let's now comes the last part wherein we are going to send the emails. So I'll first go to Nita WKST01. I'll select other user and I'll log in as Beely. I'll log in as Bruce Lee, but I'll be using the Outlook web app. So I'll wait for this to just go through the motions here for a second, and then we'll just go to OWA and just start sending the emails. All right, so my machine is up and running. So I'll first right click on Edge and select a new in private window. Remember, I'm signed in as Bruce Lee. You can see this here, Bruce Lee. I'll just give it a second because VMware tools kick in a little bit later. So you might see that weird glitch and then it just expands. So I'm going to first go to https://nita mbxs01 dot netsoftaCademy.com/OWA/ or OWA, Outlook Web App, Outlook Web Access. Click on Advanced, continue to Nita MBXS01, unsafe connection here. Okay, let me zoom in a little bit so that it is all visible. Okay, domain name NetSoft Academy / now Bruce Lee, so B Lee, and password 1350. Oh, there is a small typo here. My bad. Make sure to not have typos. I mean, typos do happen every now and then, but it's a good idea if you don't have typos. So I'm going to select Eastern Time right here. Save. And my Outlook application is opening here. I'll click on New. I just want to verify that the emails are flowing through. Everybody has an account, everybody can receive the email, right? So I'm going to send an email to Bill Walsh and M Fox. You can see both of them are in the directory, and CC the email to administrator, test email. This email is to verify email flow to linked mailbox users that were created by using a forest trust we are using our internal NetSoft Academy, Exchange server to send and receive emails from these users. Response at the receipt of the email is mandatory. Thank you. Regards. This is just so that it sounds a little bit professional. You don't have to write this much. You can just say, hey, this is an email to verify just mail flow for linked mailbox. I'm just writing this so that because it also explains the entire scenario for you. Send. Now, immediately the first thing that you would want to see is how quickly does the mail leave the draft. Okay, so it has gone from the draft. That means mail flow is working properly. There is no bounce back. Perfect. So now I'll go to my workstation 2 and I'll log in as B Walsh here. Remember, we are going to log in as every user, both the users, and respond back to the email because both of these are independent linked accounts. Just because one works doesn't mean that the other is definitely going to work. So I'll wait for this to just go through the motions here. You can see that it is taking a minute. Oh, the password is wrong. maybe I have a typo in my password. So now this happens, so I'm just going to do a very generic fix where I'll just go back and just reset the password. Happens to the best of us, happens to the best of us, so it isn't a big deal. Trust me, it's not a big deal. It's just one extra step. This also tells you what exactly needs to be done sometimes, or how you need to make sure that your passwords are all properly set up in a testing environment. Unlock user's account. Okay. All right, let's try now. Other user, B Walsh, password 1350. Oh, come on. There is a typo here. Let me just quickly identify the issue and fix it first. So I had a typo while I was creating the user account where I just put in the name as B Vlash. Now I had to correct that. Now ideally this should work, as you can see it works, but remember this. So all I did was a small mistake in giving the name where I had a small typo in my account right here. So it would say WLASH instead of WALSH. And that led to this kind of issue because even my user logon name for the pre-Windows 2000, even that had to be changed. So not a problem, but hey, it's one of those things where you learn as you go. So while this is happening, I'm also going to go to workstation 3 and I'm going to log in as mfox just to make sure that I don't have the same issue in two places. Because if I do, then that is poor IT practices on my end. And you can see Megan Fox worked very well. All right. So workstation 2 is here. It's active. Right click Edge, new in private window. Now remember, this is going to be one of those bizarro world issues here. So https :/neta mbxs01 dot netsoft academy.com/owa/. Now this should work. You can see advanced, continue, and we do get access. Okay, 125 is good. Now when you want to log in, if I just do, let's say, NetSoft Academy /B Walsh and I try to enter the password 1350, as you can see here. I click on sign in. This doesn't work. Now you might be thinking, hey, but we just added the user, we linked the account, but the user account originally belongs to Neta. I click on sign in, you can see that it works with this. So these are few things that you need to just watch out for. Now, remember we did set the time or the location as Paris or France. So let's see if we can find Paris somewhere. Paris. There's Tripoli, there's Casablanca. Let's see UTC, Lisbon. This is, Madrid, Paris. Okay, save. Now, the moment I log in, I should see the email from Bruce Lee. And you can see that the email was received. Reply all. Mail flow functional. Thank you or thanks. And regards. Send. And you can see that the email left as quickly as possible, like almost real time. Now let's go on to Megan Fox. Now remember, I did mention this, that just because Megan Fox or we did not use we did not create the account or we linked the account, it is possible that things might not work. And yes, I also ended up making a mistake wherein instead of just going directly, I said, okay, hey, let's just open Edge, which is a mistake. I know now it is a mistake, but easily rectifiable, not a problem. Just a little bit annoying. /OWA/. You could also copy the link. If you don't want to type the link every single time, you could just copy the link and just paste it. It's just doing the same trick for yours. Nita /mfox, password 1350, sign in, select your time zone. So we selected Paris, so we are going to go for the same time zone again. Brussels, Copenhagen, Madrid, Paris. And you can see that I have the email here. There are two emails, one from Bill Walsh, one from Bruce Lee. I'm going to reply to all again. And make sure that you don't have any typos like I do. It's a very bad habit. Across the forests. Thanks. Regards. And send. And now, because the mail flow is happening, you can see that it's not in the draft, it's in sent emails now. Because I did not read every email, right? That's why it all bunched together and it all looked like that. So that is one thing. Now, if I go back to Nita MBXS01 here, I open a new tab and I type in https://netsoftakademy.com/OWA/. Because I'm logged in as the administrator will get all three emails and can verify that everything is working. And that is the end of the scenario and the goal of the scenario, to ensure that no matter where the user is, we are providing access through a linked mailbox. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next scenario.
Thank you for watching NetSoft IT Academy. 905-812-2923. info@netsoftakademy.com. www.netsoftakademy.com.